This was a guy who wrote like last year, but that's a slap on the
I'm doing all right, thanks. You got everything under control?
Oh, yeah.
All right, as usual. Thank you. Good. Just came back from my second memorial service. It's good. Native American. This is the People's Church in Helms.
I just saw you.
Just got here.
You too. Hello and welcome everyone to our fellowship service this afternoon. I'm so happy that all of you are here to share this time with us, and also all those on Facebook that are live streaming with us. Welcome. And now I'd just like to invite everybody to look at your little packet that's on your chair. Since I see some new faces, there's an envelope for your donation later if you're inspired to do that. But in that envelope is also a comment and prayer card. So if you have anyone that you would like for us all to pray for in community this later in the service, just put their name on this card, and as the basket is passed around, just put that in the basket and we'll include them in our prayer today. So we always open with this beautiful, beautiful song that was composed by Corey. Thank you again. We'll never stop thanking you for it. It's so beautiful. And it's right on the front of your book. So please stand and join us in Prayer of the Child of Love.
I did not.
Mother, Mother God, your kingdom come, your holy will be wholly done. Spirit, source of love, you
I'd like to invite you now to join me in meditation. Please close your eyes if that's comfortable. We're really going to relax. Just join with your breath for a moment. And put all of the busyness of the day, just set it down for just these few moments. As we come together, joining our energy, let's take 2 deep breaths, and on the out breath, let all of the stress of the day just wash right away. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. We know that God is right here where we are. God is who we are. And all that God has is ours, now and forever. And we know this flow of good meets our every need and converts fear into love. The unlimited freedom of divine mind belongs to each of us and manifests through us into this world. I invite you to silently join me and repeat what I'm saying within. The freedom of God is my freedom. The power of God is my power. The peace of God is my peace. The joy of God is my joy. And God's strength is my strength. We know that all is well. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. I'm going to introduce our special musicians today, Tamiko and Austin, the dangling participles. Please give them a
Good morning. Oh no, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're glad to be back here. We're going to do an original piece about being brave and knowing that you can do things that are hard. So some of you may have heard this before. We really want to share it with all of you, though. Again, as we think about being strong and being good enough. Sometimes there's a call to dare greatly. Then I hear fear whisper fiction in my ear. These thoughts are braided together, but fear won't be a tether that binds up my heart. If I can uncover courage and trust when the way is not clear, I can be brave, brave, brave to start, even with the risk of taking down the armor round my heart. Oh, we've had to leave, to lean into failure, wrap our arms around and return its empty embrace. Stop trying to hide behind stacked bricks of pride that keep us apart. Hold mistakes in the light and then stare off right straight in the face. If we can be brave, brave, brave to start, even with the risk of taking down the armor round our heart. One day you'll look back on the journey when you chose to love your shadows, you felt real. And when you were brave enough to let your heart be open, the truth ran rivers and you were free. Yes, you are brave, brave, brave enough to start, even with the risk of taking down the armor round your heart. And the beauty inside you no longer hide behind the armor round your heart.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. We have an opportunity to sing together again. I'd like to invite you to find in your songbook, Love Surrounds Me, and it should be right on the inside. First page. Please stand. And then after we sing, we'll have an opportunity to greet each other and say hello.
Love above me, love below me, love beside me on my way, love before me, love behind me, all around me, every day. Love to guide me, love to hold me, love to keep me in its care. Love within me and everybody. Love surrounds me everywhere. Sing it again. Love above me, love below me, love beside me on my way, love before me, love behind me, all around me, every day. Love to guide me, love to hold me, love to keep me in its care. Love within me and everybody. Love surrounds me everywhere. Love to guide me. Love to guide me, love to hold me, love to keep me in its care. Love within me and everybody. Love surrounds me everywhere. Love surrounds me
Let's take this time to say hello to each other. Well, that was beautiful to watch. I always say this is a special time in our service, and I will never cut our love short during this time. So thank you so much. It is always my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Reverend John Taylor. He is a graduate of the Fellowship School of Ministry, and he has just grown and blessed us with his wisdom now for some time, and we're happy to have him here. Please give him a warm welcome.
Good.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, thanks. Hi everyone, I'm John.
The title topic, if there really is such a thing, of today's talk is "You're Stronger Than You Think." And thank you guys for the song that fed nicely into that. A little bit of full disclosure: I'm a wee bit sick, so I sound a bit like the Marlboro Man. Sorry about that. And I struggled with this talk. I went back and forth. I did a few different versions of it. The first one I felt was like really pragmatic. It was like really like Tony Robbins getting there and be someone, hustle off the field kind of stuff, you know. And I wrote it specifically for someone in my life who I felt was struggling. Like I had a single person in my heart and in my mind that I was considering as I was writing it. But really the message is very universal because we all got stuff we struggle with. And then the second version of this was really very sort of Buddhistic and Taoist. It's like, hey, look, we're all going to be dead soon anyway, so who cares, you know? And so it's like, what I'm going to attempt to do is find a middle point between, you know, rah-rah and none of it really matters. You know what I mean? That weird center place that well, we'll all just take the journey together. So everyone's got things and scary. Some of them are transient. Some of them are huge and life-changing. All of them are scary for every one of us. I think fear of big stuff, problematic challenges, is just part of the package of doing this human adventure. And, you know, one of the big things I think to remember is that it's all beautiful. Now, look, I am not trying to make light of anyone's situation. If you have a child that dies before you or there's a big tragedy, it's big. And no one's going to talk you out of that quickly or easily, nor should they. But what I can tell you is that you need cloudy days to recognize how beautiful the sunshine is. You need winter to understand how great it is to have a sunny day. And I think you need to spend some time coasting, and you also need to spend some time on the green and growing edge of your comfort zone. And for me, nothing really quite gets me there faster than being kicked directly in the ass out of my comfort zone. And it's always like that. I never voluntarily choose to leave my comfort zone. So there's this gentleman, I like him. He writes extensively about folklore, and one of the things that he talks about is how every story begins with the hero at rest at home. So if you wanted a visualization, this would be Luke Skywalker at Uncle Owen's house. And then they come and burn everything down. And it's all gone, and now he's an orphan, and he has nowhere to go. And that's how everyone's hero's journey begins. They're at rest in a place they call home, and then something comes and removes you from that. And now you've got to sort of go out, and like we all have done here at the fellowship, find wise elders and teachers and comrades and friends to help you on the path. And it's that vulnerability that happens when you get crammed, almost like how you would pry open an oyster, when you get pried open to the world, that allows you to open your heart enough and be vulnerable and ask for help. And that's a really beautiful thing. That's a thing that I think if we had more of that going on in the world, it would be a better world. Because I think one of the things that happens when you ask for help is you're looking for the good in everyone. You know, to quote Jason Mraz, you're looking for the good inside of people. And everyone, you know what's so weird is, I don't know, show of hands, this is the participation part. Who amongst us thinks it's easier to envision success for other people than it is for yourself? So like you take, yeah, boom, like if we could swivel it, like it was retarded. It was like 90% of the, it was not that word. It was like not, it was, there was a lot of hands up. Anyway, the thing was that like I think we all of us, at least I'll speak for myself, you can get on board if you want. I think it's easy to forget that you can be the hero of your own story. Don't sell yourself short. We all got gifts. We all come from the factory with things that we are amazing at. But I think something that we forget to do is to take time to get intimate with our gifts. Really let them breathe and grow like a tomato plant. You know, just watch those little tomatoes get into big red tomatoes. And you can share them with your friends, and you can enjoy them yourself. You know, your gifts are only as powerful as the love you pour into them. And I think for every one of us, we can change the world, one simple act at a time. I really do. Another thing that I wanted to discuss that I think is really amazing when you're talking about you're stronger than you think you are, and this, I'm going to hit on this twice, is you're not exactly who you think you are. So there's an archetype, it's a kind of a character personification archetype, and it's in a lot of Native American traditions, and it's the 4 directions: the king, the warrior, the lover, the magician. Each and every one of these lives inside of each and every one of us. The king, who's the northern energy, is the elder energy. It's wise, it's friendly, it's gentle, it's kind. It welcomes people into its court. The warrior is more sort of, what are we going to do? Like, tell me what we physically have to do next. The lover, of course, is the team maker and the person that helps you on the path with encouragement and helps others too. And the magician is always trying to think outside the box or learn something new to help you. What do we have to learn? Where do we have to go? What tools do we need to invent to help us? And the thing that I've always found amazing about these 4 archetypes is if you are aware of them, you can ask them for help. So if you are feeling bullied or pushed down or you don't have a voice, you can talk to your warrior. What do I physically need to do to not feel small? If you feel ignorant or like you don't have any of the answers, you can consult your king and your magician. What do I need to do to feel empowered? What must I learn? Who must I talk to? What wise elders do I need to invite into my life? You know, and who amongst us doesn't like a good lover? I mean, you know, like, you know, I mean, some of the... There's a great movie that has Peter Dinklage in it. I think it's called Cicero, and he's a little guy. And it's just such a great movie about how love makes everything possible. And that was a pretty awesome movie. That was a pretty cool thing to see. The other thing I'd like to remind you of when I say you're not who you think you are is you're not really this whole thing here. I mean, I recently went to Cedar Point with some friends, and that was an amazing experience. But being alive here in a body is kind of a lot like being in a roller coaster. It's very loud. There's a lot of stimulus. There's a lot of ups and downs and people yelling next to you. And I assume when you're all done, you feel kind of wheezy, and you say, wow, that was fun, but I don't know if I want to do it again right away. And... right, so what are you then if you're not your physical body? Well, a lot of great spiritual teachers would say that you are part of the eternal. You're part of God or the Tao or the universe, or as one of my favorite spiritual teachers put it, you are a single plane of consciousness in a universe stacked on top of innumerable other planes of consciousness. I love that. I just think that's so great. I just think of like a cake going up to like the sky. And, you know, when you start to see your life in this place that you are here to gain experiences, good, bad, everything in between, your view gets a little more expansive than my life mission is to grab with both hands things that I like and shove away things that scare me. We're gonna do a meditation here in the end by a wonderful teacher named Pama Chodra called Tong Lin. But one of the names of her books is Welcoming the Unwelcome. How am I doing with that? You know, sometimes better than others. You know, I think one of the things that can be scary sometimes in the world we live in is we feel like we look around and we see so many big problems that are bigger than ourselves, and doesn't seem like there's a lot of hope to like solving them. Like for me, I have a son, the big one is environmental stuff. How are we ever going to get our arms around this? It just seems like it's getting worse every day. And, you know, for me, I engage in this fantasy that somehow the darkness is going to overpower the light. That one of these days it's going to be Waterworld or something terrible like that. And, you know, one of the things that Alan Watts puts it really masterfully is everything in life flows. When there's a wave, there's a peak of the wave, and there's a trough of the wave. And the trough of the wave will never overcome the peak. There will always be a middle, there will always be a top, and there will always be a bottom, right until that wave washes into the shore. And, you know, when you understand that there's always a top and there's always a bottom, you start to ask yourself, well, man, it takes so much. It takes so much to maintain life on this planet and to keep it healthy. It's just a miracle that anything's here. I mean, it's just a miracle. And, you know, you can't have space without spacelessness. You can't have, you know, something without nothing. And you can't have life without death. So part of the gig, I think for all of us, when we sign up to come here, is that we spend some time doing this, and then this thing conks out on us. Sometimes it happens really abruptly, sometimes there's a long runway, but that's something that, a gate that we all go through. And if you can get your arms around the concept, and no matter how you do it, altered states of consciousness, prayer, meditation, sweat lodge, spiritual teaching, if you can get your arms around the idea that the majority of you continues to go on after this isn't here anymore, suddenly your 5-year plan, so to speak, gets a lot more expansive. I think the thing that frightens me the most is that there's no communication with the previous guy. It's a clean slate each and every time. Do you know what I mean by that? Like your previous life doesn't get to inform your next life. So it's like, hey, if someone tells you to, you know, swim with a shark, you might not want to do that because I got eaten by one. When you wake up to this idea that you're not your body, you're not your mind, and you're not even your thoughts, well, what are you? Well, I like to believe that we're all energy. We're all those planes of consciousness that are completely and totally incapable of being destroyed. They just continue to stack on top of each other, and they just continue to inform this great, magical, wonderful, whimsical ride called life. I really like that idea, that when we are done here, we return to a source and we take all the good stuff with us, and we all get a little better, and we all shine a little brighter. Now that might not, that's my fantasy. I don't know what yours is, but that one gives me a lot of comfort. I think there also relieves a lot of fundamental terror for me. One of the big things about getting it right for me, or being stronger than I think I am, when I hear that sentence, I always frame it against the backdrop of I've got to accomplish something. I've got to and believe me, it's great that people accomplish things. It's great that people create. It's great that people help and add to the stream of life. But I also think it takes the pressure off. It'd be nice if it happened this time around. I don't know if it will, but there's so many wonderful things that can happen when you stand up and show up for your own life. You know, there's a great quote, I don't know who said it, but 90% of life is showing up. And the other 10% is trying real hard. And you know, I think that's a great thing. And when you show up for your own life, and when you realize that you're not this life, that really relieves some of the fundamental terror that I think is, you know, we talked about that. That kind of comes with being challenged. Is, I don't know, man, that obstacle course. You know what I remember this so vividly. I used to skydive, and the scariest part of skydiving is when they open the door. I don't know if anyone's ever had that experience, but they open the door and it gets real windy and real loud, and that's when you realize, yes, indeed, you are in a plane. I don't know where I was going to go with that, but it's a scary moment. It's a scary moment, believe me. So, like, it relieves some of that terror. And that doesn't mean you got to be a hero all the time, or you don't get upset, or, you know, your back doesn't ache, or you don't feel the world pushing down on you sometimes. None of that stuff goes away when you realize you're a spirit having a human experience. But what it does do is it relieves that fundamental terror, and it gives you a little bit of breathing room to remember, okay, stop trying to get it right and just live your life happy. You know, it's a cool place to be. And I think you also get freed from some of your hang-ups. You drift like a cloud, you flow like water. You kind of are able to move with the river of life rather than paddling against it. And man, boy, if there was one thing that you guys could take home with you today, I really hope it's that you're moving with your dreams and you're not letting your challenges or adversities define you. Because I believe in each and every one of you. I mean, I'm so grateful you came to listen to me. Like, for real, that wasn't a joke. I am so grateful that each of you are here. And now that I'm kind of getting close to the meditation part, I'm grateful it came together as good as it did. I was really worried that I wasn't going to talk good, but I did pray that I didn't mess it up, and I hope I didn't. So let's meditate. Okay. How about we all grab a comfortable seated position? If you wish, you can close your eyes. And let's just start with a nice deep breath. Let's just do a second really nice deep breath. So Tonglen is the practice of breathing in discomfort, breathing in pain, and breathing out purified energy. Love, light, healing. And where the practice really begins to change your life and the lives of others is that you do it with intention. So as we're breathing in that heavy, uncomfortable, maybe even claustrophobic air, I want you to turn your attention to someone who's suffering. Or maybe that's you. Maybe you need to be the center of this thing. Take a minute. There's someone out there that needs some help. Or maybe it's a group of people, or the planet that needs help, Mother Earth. And just breathe in, and then just breathe out healing. So a lot of people have tough relationships with family. Sometimes those relationships aren't as loving or as meaningful as we want. And sometimes people have challenging relationships with God. It doesn't make sense. Is he happy? Is he angry? And I want you to breathe in all that confusion. And then when you're letting it out, breathe out light and love for everyone else who is struggling with family. Everyone else who is struggling with spirituality. Widening your conscience to see that you're not the only person who is in this place of being challenged. That you can be the loving energy that helps a stranger or a friend when they're in a tough spot. So breathing in heaviness, breathing in pain, breathing out lightness, breathing out healing. And let's just sit quietly and have our meditation space for a few moments, please. Taking just a few more deep breaths. Coming back to the room, sending that last person or group of people that last big good intention, because Lord knows we all need it. Maybe gently wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, coming back to this sacred space. And then you're ready, just open your eyes.
John. Good stuff as always, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, we sing together our thoughts, our prayers, page 35. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
This is the time in our service where we focus on our abundance. We recognize our blessings and all the wonderful good in our lives and surrounding us. At the fellowship, we teach that God is not the supplier, or source, or divine love is not the supplier of abundance, but is the supply. And we are part of that. We are one with that. So I ask you to take these moments to focus on this abundance that you are, filled with blessing, filled with abundance and health and love. And as we prepare our gift to donate today, or for those of you who donate online, hold that generous donation in your consciousness and just know that all of us are so grateful for you, so grateful for your generosity. John will bring around the basket now, and I also remind you to put your prayer card in there. So if you pull out your bulletin, the beautiful sunflower, I'll invite you to read with me the blessing of our tithes and offerings. The light of divine love shines eternally, blessing and multiplying our tithes and offerings. I joyously give, knowing I always have enough to share and to spare. Thank you again for your generous donations. And I also invite you again to close your eyes if you would and go back within. Kind of bring back that feeling of going inward that John led us into. And remember that this basket contains the names of beloved beings, friends and family, those that we hold so dear in our hearts. At the fellowship, we teach affirmative prayer. So we don't focus on the negative, on swimming around in the way things are, but we focus our energy on the way we want things to be. And so we see these beautiful beings named in this basket as whole and healthy. We see it and we feel it. That energy of love surrounds them. And for all those who are facing difficulties, we see them finding their way easily to the answers, to the wisdom, the clarity that is needed. And earlier, and together we sang. And so it is, and so it is. Thank you. We have one more fellowship song to sing together, and it's just perfect given what John was talking about. I'd ask you to turn to page 38. And when you find your way there, please stand and we'll sing together, Spirit Am I.
Free
So the song we're going to play for you is one that really came to mind when I heard the theme about being stronger. It's one I wrote relatively recently. I think we might have even played it here before. But it features the image of a phoenix and the idea of coming back to new lives. As mentioned earlier, I thought that was an appropriate thing as well this morning. So.
Once upon a time there was a woman who kept turning in her mind all of the thoughts that she had traveled down and never could just settle on a single goal. She wanted to play every role, fight for every figure, be a writer and a singer and a mother and an artist. All her energy was harnessed, but she was slowly burning out. The art that she was turning out had her running on fumes, and a fire consumes its sparks and it blooms, and then smoke fills the room. She's choking, her breath spent, inhaling ashes, but she won't relent. She's not broken, she's just bent. She stumbled, but she will rise. She will rise. She stumbled, but she will rise. 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 She will rise, she will rise, she will rise. But nothing would come easy for this woman, 'cause she didn't have a system of support around her. Every time that trouble found her, she would muster up the gumption, fighting every false assumption, chasing everyone who crossed her, knowing she was no imposter, but her energy was dwindling. It dried her out like kindling. It was no use pretending. The effort she was spending had her running on fumes, and a fire consumes its sparks and it blooms, and then smoke fills the room. She's choking, her breath spent, inhaling ashes, but she won't relent. She's not broken, she's just bent. She stumbled, but she will rise. She will rise. She stumbled, but she will rise. She will rise. Sing on that part. She will rise. 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 Keep singing with me. She will rise. 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 Above all the ash, every choked back tear, with love is overpast, all the smoke will clear. Baptized in fire, she's felt the burn. Once one more star, as far as she's concerned, it's just a token of a lesson learned. From the ashes, she will rise. She will rise.
service. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us. Dangling Participles and Corey, thank you so much. Reverend John, thank you so much for your message. This afternoon. Thank you, virtual watchers. It just was, everything was perfect, and it was wonderful, John. Thank you so much. Just a few announcements. I want to just mention we have a prayer team that prays constantly for those that you want to offer names for or conditions or whatever. So your cards that you put in the basket today will make those names will make their way to our prayer list, and we have a team. I'm just putting it out there. If anyone would like to join the prayer team who isn't already on it, just let us know. I send out an email each week updating the list, and you can be part of that affirmative energy that we believe in so deeply here. And Death Cafe is meeting August 18th. That's a Saturday at 2 p.m. at the fellowship office. I'm not real sure about the Waldemar Walk with Reverend Sue. She has not been feeling well, so just watch the Facebook page and your e-announcements for notice about whether that's going to continue on this first Sunday in August. And I want to just mention, too, that tomorrow I'm off to visit my daughter in San Diego. And I'll miss you for a couple of weeks, but I'll be back and have probably some fun things to share. So I will watch online if I can. And probably most important, there's a delicious potluck in the social hall, so please join us after for that. And let's all join in our circle, sing the peace song, and say our closing blessing.